I mean, is there anything you guys are wanting to learn?
Does each person need their own bug out bag, or?
I would say so. I mean, like for kids, for each adult should have their own with everything that like you listed.
Okay.
A kid, you're gonna scale it down. If you wanna stick a lighter in it, so that way you've got an extra backup or something like that, do that. And they need to learn how to use it. I mean, they need to learn how to make the fires themselves too. That way if they get separated, for some reason or another, they can take care of themselves too. But yeah, I would say, yeah, it's gonna be a scaled down version, but yeah, they need to have one. And I mean, it could be just a simple, like a school backpack, so it doesn't stick out. You don't wanna camouflage something, make it look military or anything like that, but, just something that they can carry, food, water, like that. That's my idea, and I would put a first aid kit on with it. Yeah. But what even got this all started was, I don't even know who started the post, but.
I wrote a post about having to think about all this stuff.
Right, and it got to, like if the power goes out in the house, making microclimates, setting up a tent inside your house. It's gonna be easier to heat that tent than it is to heat a whole house. So, but like this here, a lot of people say they don't work, they can't get no heat out of these. They may be trying to use too big of a clay pot to heat, thinking, oh, it's bigger, it's gonna, put off more heat. But if they're not putting enough, a big enough candle in it, or, I can heat this up on the inside here to where this is almost white with this in about 5 minutes. And this will radiate heat for another 10-15 minutes after that. If you did something like that inside of a tent the size of this room, that's going to put off quite a bit of heat. Then refill it again. It's something that, but I can do it also. I buy just the plain white candles at Walmart, the 2.5 inch round ones. You can get whatever color you want, but that's what I use. And they're this tall. I'll take a piece of like that bank line. I've got a big roll of that to cut that candle in half. I just put it down there and started pulling that back and forth through there, and it cut right through that candle. Now it didn't cut through the wick. You'll have to use a knife or something to cut through that. But then I can stick it under a pot like this, and that'll burn for, I don't know, all night long, just off a short stub of 2.5 inch candle. So, I mean, and if you're putting off heat with that inside of if you do it inside of a tent on something like this and that, you're not going to knock this over if you do. You're just not going to knock it over. You might knock the candle over, but it's not going to go anywhere. So I wouldn't hesitate to light one inside of a tent. I mean, I wouldn't.
Especially if your life depended on it.
Right. And you never know. I mean, like where I live, the power goes out quite a bit. I mean, but I live in between here in Potosi on 185, Crawford County Electric. Power goes out quite a bit. And it may be out for 5-6 hours, or it may be out for 2 days. I mean, I remember last year when we had that one storm that come through, I was without power for 3 days. But I'm used to it. I've got wool blankets and stuff for, my reenacting. I just put on more clothes. You can always, I don't know. Amy and I are in the ham radio club. We've got ham radios. I mean, in an emergency, I mean, these you can get for, what are they, like $40
Yeah, not
on
very
Amazon.
much.
And in this area, I'm 18 miles. No, 18. I'm almost 20 miles from Sullivan. And with this radio and this antenna, I can talk to Sullivan.
Which might be our only form of communication.
And it might be, yeah. Because their repeater You know, these you can charge up off of, this one, I've got the, you seen the charger, I had it in there. This extended battery that's on this, I can charge that up off of, my car, out of a cigarette lighter, off a solar panel, whatever. You can recharge this. And the repeater here in Sullivan, they've got a battery backup on that. I would have one of these. I mean, with this extended battery, off like this, I can let it sit for a month. And I have. Even on standby, it'll last 3-4 days.
You're supposed to have a license to use one, but I think in an emergency situation, they're not going to find all of us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in an emergency, and that's what you're going to use it for. You know, I wouldn't hesitate to get on there. They're easy to program. You can download the software for it onto your computer, and finding the frequencies might be a little difficult unless you know, get in with something. I mean, I got it. I can program half a dozen radios here in about 5 minutes. You know, it's just that easy.
You would have to decide ahead of time what frequency you were going to contact people on,
Right.
or what they should be listening to.
Well, like the Sullivan repeater here is 146.8
805.
805, and if you were in an emergency and you got on that frequency, if you had that programmed into your radio, got on there and said you needed help, you'd get help.
You'd get help.
Yeah, in a hurry. Now, we got a friend here in Sullivan with his radio, and we've got an external antenna, and it's not a real good antenna by any means because we're going to upgrade it. But he can reach Pacific with his radio. And with a car, you can run that in a car too. This adapter right here that I've got on this just screws out. But this hooks up to just a regular coax cable, and you can put a roof mount antenna on your car and run down the road. And if you're stuck alongside the road, if you've got an area that you travel up and down the road, get the repeaters along that area. And usually you're going to be within, 10 miles of one, most generally.
How do you find out about them?
About these?
About like where the repeaters?
Oh, the repeaters? You can actually go online, and there's a website. It's MissouriRepeater.com, I think.
I never knew that.
Yeah, and it will give you all the lists of the repeaters. It'll give you the frequency, the tone in order to activate it and talk on it. And you'll have to know all that information to put it into the computer to put it on the radio.
But once it's programmed, you don't got to know it.
Right. Once
or
it's
if you
in
can
there.
get someone to do it for you.
Right. And I'm willing to do that. Anybody that wants it done. It's not a big deal to do it. But I would recommend. It's cheap. The $40 that we were talking about. That's 2 batteries. Not this antenna. It'll be a short one like that one, and then a little bit longer one. And those will reach out, 6-10 miles with the shorter antennas. Easy enough. Most of you probably know where Spanish Claim is down here, the other side of Merrimack State Park down here.
Do you know
across the river.
where Reedville Baptist Church is?
Yeah.
But you all aren't from, you're not from around here really.
St.
You're
Clair.
from St. Clair, yeah.
Yeah.
But you guys do. It's that road. It's on that road.
And from
It's
my
not
house,
okay.
through the Sullivan repeater, we've got a friend over in St. Clair, actually several of them over in St. Clair. At my house I'm 13 miles out of Potosi. I can key up on that, hit the Sullivan repeater, and everybody in St. Clair can hear me. So, and they can reach the Sullivan repeater as well from St. Clair. So you can talk that way. So, if you've never thought about getting into it, it's a good, cheap little hobby to get into. The test isn't real difficult to,
Not the
not the technician's test.
technician's test.
Yeah. The rest of them, they can be a little
Yeah.
fun. If you're smart like Amy, it's easy.
But I can't do none of this stuff.
But yeah, it'd be worth having. Even if you don't take the test, you get it and you get the frequencies in there and keep it for, just in case.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good idea. And then they've got bigger ones. If you got into it and liked it and wanted to talk across the world, they've got units that you can do that too. anything else? Do you want,
You actually can talk on a ham frequency if it's an emergency.
yes,
That's right, it's
That's
not
correct.
even illegal.
Right.
If it's
I
a
mean,
matter of life and death or.
you can even get, I mean, and it's public knowledge, I mean, you can look them up on the internet, you can get the police frequencies and stuff, so you can use this as a scanner, just like, you know, your Bearcat scanners that you'd sit on your table and listen to. You can do the same thing on here, and you would actually be able to talk back to them in an emergency. It better be an emergency, somebody shooting at you, you know, there's a car wreck, you know, something like that. You can get on there and talk directly to the police instead of going through a dispatcher, you know, your cell phone. You may be in an area your cell phone don't work. You know, you can get right on there, say, hey, there's an accident here. You know, tell them who you are and tell them where the accident is, and they're going to be fine with it. I mean, but as long as it's an emergency.
Yeah, they're fine with you busting in on KTUI if it's an emergency.
Yeah, exactly. And that you can listen to radio on here. You know, you can KTUI, any of them. As long as you know what the frequency is, you can program it in here and listen to it. You can listen to the weather on here. You know, Nara out of where's that at? Rolla?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's local, Springfield, someplace like that. You can pick that up and get the local weather. They're pretty handy to have. There's a lot of groups that get on there and they'll talk in the evenings. They'll have prayer groups, you know, getting together and do it on there. You know, if you got your license, you can get on there and request prayer and everybody.
Almost everybody's a Christian. In
Yeah.
the ham club around here in Sullivan, I have not even met a person that's not a Christian.
Exactly.
Yeah, and in our group, I think almost.
Yeah,
every-
in our group
yeah.
too. Yeah, I don't know anybody that's not, and some that have, were out there on the verge of it.
Yeah,
and
they're
they've come
coming back in.
Right, 'cause they've seen.
Time to come back in.
Right. Well, they've seen how we've gotten together and, you know, pulled together and did things, and they go, well, wait a minute.
Right.
You know, everything's going right with them, and they're doing it. Why am I out here struggling by myself? You know, so, yeah, there's a lot of good that can come from it. Do you want to watch another video?
Let's just see if there's any more questions.
Yeah, I mean, questions?
Because we can send them more video links.
Yeah,
if
we
they
can
want.
send you video links, you know. He's a good one to watch, and that's the green, well, he's Green Beret, but his graybeard is what his handle is, I think.
Graybeard.
Yeah, scroll up here. Yeah, the
Graybearded
graybearded
Green
Green
Beret.
Beret is his channel, and he's got a ton of videos on there.
You know, and we'll do more training if there's anything specific, or if
Yeah.
you want to get a bigger group together and actually trek through the woods and learn how to use the compass and a map and a bead count, pace counting and stuff. I don't know how much time you guys have or whatever, or how interested you are, but there's so much to learn. So
I'd be interested in learning medical, like, field.
me too.
Obviously not like
Yeah.
surgery or something.
Right,
Right? Yeah.
right.
But like,
You want to know how to stop bleeding?
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, yeah,
We do have someone that's going to teach that on.
that's cool, right.
Yeah. I'm
Um,
sure we can invite
it-
people.
I would think
I
so.
would think so. Yeah.
We can check in on that and find out.
Yeah, that's something I'm really. We watched a pretty good video. He was telling us what everything was for, and I don't know anything about any of this stuff, but I did take some key things away. If it's a limb, you use a tourniquet. I mean, I guess that should have been basic, but I didn't know that. If it's in an area where you can't get a tourniquet, you pack the wound. So you have all this gauze that you just pack and pack and pack and pack. And then if it's in a place where where you can't pack a chest wound because you have to breathe, your lungs have to work, that's where they take, and he talked about it a little bit, but I didn't know what it was until just a few weeks ago. It's, you can use any kind of a plastic bag or whatever, but you seal it completely off so that no air can get in or out, no blood can get in or out, but they also make them to where they're sticky, but they have one part on it that's not sticky, so you put that right over the gun wound, and then the rest of it sticks to your chest or sticks to your back. And that was the sucking chest wound that he kept talking about.
And I think on our website,
Mhm.
there is a link to the videos for the medical classes that we're gonna be,
Oh, really? I haven't been on
so-
our website. I forgot we
Yeah.
had one.
so if you wanted to, I'm sure you got everybody's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
you can share that with them if you, I would think.
Yeah.
But the nurse that we've got that was gonna do that, she's out of Rolla, and she's done a lot of trauma stuff and like that, but she got canceled last time because of this COVID thing. Everybody on her staff got sick, so she had to work. So it changed all of our plans for that weekend.
Right.
We ended up doing something else. But yeah, the map reading, I mean, that's something you guys, I mean, if you're planning on bugging out, going someplace, learn to read a map. I mean, you know, between Union and St. Clair or someplace like that, you know, you may not always be able to travel the road. So you're gonna wanna know how to get, you know, find a way through. So it'd be something nice to learn. Even, you know, just a regular Missouri state map. You know, a lot of people, you'd be surprised how many people don't know how to read one. I mean, you know, trying to think what else. Any other questions? I mean, we kind of lost it to what to tell you, because I don't want to tell you stuff you don't want to hear, you know, but I want you to get something out of it too, you know.
I guess everybody's bug out bag may not be exactly the same as everybody else's, you know. You may
Exactly.
have a priority, you know, women are gonna need certain things and men are not gonna need.
That's right.
Medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah, medicine,
Yeah.
definitely.
But
Put your medicines in there.
I mean, if we're summing up, you know, you're gonna need a few hundred calories to get you through a couple of days if you gotta travel.
Right,
You need a water, or, you know, take water with you, take a way to purify water.
right.
A way to start a fire, especially have a way to start a fire if conditions are not ideal.
Mm-hmm. And I had, he showed that ferrocerium rod, and I've got one someplace.
What is it called? I couldn't
A
hear what you.
ferrocerium rod,
Ferricium?
I think that was the way
Okay.
it's pronounced.
I wrote ferris.
It actually throws off a super hot spark. And I usually carry one, and I don't. I don't remember what bag I've got in me. I used to carry this one all the time. But those can be gotten online, fairly easy. And it's the next best thing to flint and steel, in my opinion. And the flint and steel, you know, that's easy to learn. I mean, when I go to my black powder rendezvous and stuff like that, we set up tables, and just as the kids are walking in, we're teaching them how to build a fire right there on the table. I mean, it takes a matter of a couple of minutes to learn how to do it. It may take you a lifetime to master it, but you know, it only takes you a few minutes to learn. I don't know. I'm not sure where it's at. This week has been kind of crazy for me, so I'm not as prepared as I'd like to be. But, you know what? That's the reason we're having things like this.
Yeah.
You know, so that way, you know, hey, I need to pay attention to what I'm doing here. And there's some stuff that he had in there that I'd even forgot about, you know, that I need to put in these bags myself.
Yeah.
You know?
Did you wanna light that penny stove?
Yeah, I'd like that, yeah.
You can
And-
go if anyone is.
No, I'm good.
I'm sorry?
I was just saying if anyone needed to go, it's not gonna offend any of us.
No, not at all.
We're just casually, whatever.
Yeah. The way this one's made is I've got a piece of pipe wrap insulation, just that yellow fiberglass stuff. And what's nice about that is there's no big woof. You're not gonna. I don't know if you can even see that.
Yeah, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Can
I
you
can
guys
see
see
the
that?
flame. I don't know if we can see. Oh yeah, you can even see it on the video.
Okay.
You
Just
see it
give a
better
few
on the
minutes and
video.
let it, burn. I may not have put enough in there. Oh, guess I didn't.
Still going.
Yeah, it's still running. But see, it's not a volatile.
So did it burn it up that fast?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Well, I didn't put enough in it.
Ah.
There, here it's starting to take off. And the nice thing about that stuff is it evaporates. If you get it on your fingers, a couple minutes, it's gone. There, it's starting to poke.
Now, do you prefer those little alcohol penny stoves over the canned heat with like the gel in it already?
Well, yeah, I do. Just because. Just because I can refill them once those the others are used up. It's just a can.
So what does the penny do?
Penny shuts off that center and forces the gas out the sides. You know, once it settles down there, it looks just like a gas stove.
Mm-hmm.
And you can set, you know, one of those pans I got in there. I can set water on that now and start it burning. And
How long will it burn?
that'll burn for about 10 minutes or so, maybe.
But you heat that up and that'll stay warm
But
for
this,
a long time,
yeah.
right?
We'll put this on here. But that'll do it. But it'll burn your fingers. You ain't gonna see with all the lights in there.
Yeah.
But that'll start, you're already starting to get heat off that.
Can you set a pot on top of that and just
Did it go out on me?
cook off that?
Yeah, that's what I'd rather do.
Yeah,
It's flatter.
you could, actually do that. I don't know why that went out. But yeah, you could do that. I mean, it's gonna take longer to heat up to start with, but,
So are you moving the penny around in there?
yeah, I'm moving the penny around. Burning there. Sure. Figures I go to show something. and it
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Doesn't wanna work
This
right.
is where prayer comes in.
Yeah.
It's a matter of life and death. Maybe we should print out a troubleshooter's guide.
Oh, it's not. I ain't gonna touch that penny. I've done that once. That burns.
Did it burn up the alcohol that fast?
No, I'm not sure why it did that.
because we're looking at it.
Exactly.
It's like watching a pot boil.
I'm not sure what's going on with that one. There it goes. Well, it was starting up.
Yikes. You almost need like really thick gloves or something.
Yeah, I wonder if that. Well, it's not that that's getting hot. I have my fingers in the wrong spot.
I wonder if there's not enough oxygen getting to it.
That's what I'm thinking. If that
Yeah.
one's not enough oxygen getting to it. This one here is the same thing. The only difference is, I made an indentation here, and there's 4 holes drilled in the side of that, and you don't have to use a penny with this one. Not at all. Yeah, it's not even hot. I'll just sit that right there.
So do you like the penny one better?
Actually, I like this one here. It takes a little longer to make this one. The
Mhm.
penny one is easier, faster to make.
To actually craft.
Correct.
And,
Yeah,
and
this
make
one. This one, because I put the indentation in the bottom of that one, it takes a little longer to make.
Mhm.
But they both work about the same.
Is there any more questions while he's doing that? No? Okay. Cool.
And that one's on for a few minutes yet.
If there's anything we ever want to get together and learn, we can get more people together and get an RSVP or something and just make sure we have enough people.
Do you have a solar generator?
I actually do have a solar panel that I use for. I've got at some of our meetings they run kind of late at night, and I've got a 4,500 watt lumen LED light panel. It's about this square, and I've got a little motorcycle battery, and I've got that solar panel that I can use to recharge that. But that provides enough light for it light up this whole
Okay.
corner of this block out here.
Okay.
I mean,
Because something that if I didn't have electricity,
Mhm. yeah.
like one of my daughters has asthma flare ups sometimes, and
Okay.
the nebulizer like
Right.
literally saves
need it.
their life. And
Right.
so I just think for being prepared, I want a way if I don't have electricity for her to be able to use that.
I'll tell you something, and I used this when I lived over in Owensville. The power had gone out over there, and I bought a 1,500 watt. It hooks up to the battery, but I could run my whole, or not my whole house. I could run my TV, a lamp, my router, my computer. What else was it? Seems like there was more off of it that I could run like that. Just off that little thing hooked to the car battery for
Okay.
hours. You can go out there and start the car back up,
Okay.
and that would do that too in an emergency.
Right.
That would work great.
Okay.
But for what you're wanting to do for maybe for long term in a thing like that, you'll need to set up a battery bank,
Okay.
and then you'll still end up using one of those inverters, but just use the sun to recharge that battery.
Okay.
Yeah, that
Some
would
of
be
them
a
are
great
like
idea.
$2,000, and I just didn't know what would be sufficient but was more affordable.
Honestly, yeah, that's quite high. Larry Rice actually sells solar panels for $1 a watt.
Okay.
They make them and sell them, and they're good solar panels.
Okay.
Jesse, is that something that a hand cranked generator would be able to? Because you would only have to run the nebulizer for
I
a
don't
few
think you
minutes.
could run that on.
You
Yeah,
can. I don't
no.
know what a nebulizer is, so
Well, it's basically a little air pump,
okay.
but it blows air through the medicine that she needs to take, makes it a vapor,
Okay.
so she can breathe it in. which.
I know what a nebulizer is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know it wouldn't run on one.
See
Okay,
how that
I was
one's-
just thinking.
Oh,
I had to.
See, that's quite a bit
You
different.
do know.
Yeah.
And that one's
Oh.
putting out some.
I think it's going.
Is Kristen feeling any better? Is Kristen feeling any better?
I don't know.
You need gloves.
Yeah.
No, that one.
If that one goes out, when
No,
it's
that
oxygen.
one won't go out.
Okay.
I need to open the door.
Yeah.
Get some wind in.
No, that one's. Yeah, I can still
It's
see it
going, yeah.
cooking in there. But that one don't take a. Yeah, that's too hot.
Let me already try. Yeah, you could, oh wow. You can't hold your hand over that for very long.
I can see flames now.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, so you could cook off. You could take a pot and stick on there and heat water on that as well. But you've got to get the pot that's got the air holes through it. Otherwise, you'd want, if it was a closed-in pot, you'd want to raise it up, with some blocks or something to, make it a little bit bigger. But yeah, this one here, I mean, it's still cooking in there, and yeah.
Eh.
Yeah, you ain't picking that one up. Not without a
Nice.
pair of gloves. But those are easy to make. I mean, that one, if you didn't bow that out in there and just made it flat, it'd probably take you maybe 45 minutes to make. But once it's made, you've got it.
And how long can you heat? Can you heat a room this size, or would you need a smaller
Well,
space?
Yeah, I would think you could. I mean, but I don't like it super warm anyways. But,
Right. But it wouldn't. It would be warm enough not to freeze to death.
Oh yeah. I mean,
And how long do you think it would? I know you probably said. I think you answered that already. But how long do you think it would stay warm in the room?
well, once this goes out, if it burned the whole 9 minutes, this would stay warm for at least another 15 minutes or so afterwards.
Okay. So it's not something you could
I mean-
warm yourself all night long.
Not without refilling it.
Okay.
No. I wouldn't think.
You just
that.
have to sleep in shifts and keep refilling it.
Yeah. The thing about this one is it's got the insulation in there so the fluid doesn't. Yeah, I say it doesn't.
But I
If it
guess
gets knocked over, it doesn't spill out. But
if you turn it upside down.
yeah, turn it upside down, it'll.
So if you had a tent and you put that in your tent and you got your tent pretty warm and then
Yeah,
it
yeah.
went out, you would still kind of stay warm in there for a while,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Just with body
Yeah.
heat and just.
Because in a tent you're gonna have your your sleeping bags and your blankets and stuff in there, so you're gonna be
Pretty warm.
pretty warm in there anyways. Like I said, with a candle though, inside of a tent, I would put that in there, and that candle, you could burn all night on that
Of
candle.
the candle. Yeah,
Right.
put it in there.
Right. And it'll do the same thing. And like I said earlier, that candle, even if you shook this and knocked it over, and the candle fell over in there, the fire's not gonna go nowhere. It's in there. It's on that clay tile, and it's not gonna go anywhere.
Nice.
And I've slept a many a night, during my races and stuff, with just a candle burning, just for ambient light or whatever, and just they're 3/4 inch by 6 inch, and that'll almost burn 8 hours. So a 2 inch by 4 inch, that's gonna last you a couple of nights. So, but yeah, back to your solar panel thing, yeah, I would look at that, yeah. You can go to Harbor Freight and pick up a cheap one there, and you're not gonna spend, to do what you need to do for the nebulizer. Oh yeah, absolutely. And just use a regular, I don't want to say a car battery, because that's not what you don't want something that's going to have a chance to put toxic gases out. they make a, what are they called, the yellow ones that
The Optima,
Optima batteries.
yeah.
They're more expensive, but if they get knocked over, you know, those are gel filled, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they're glass, I'm not sure, they're absorbent glass matter, they might be gel, but they're deep cycle.
Right, they're deep cycle, so it's gonna, you know, take lots of charges and discharges on it. I thought they were gel filled or something. They're better for, you know, what that, you're gonna use it for. I'd get you 1 or 2 of those, so that way you've got plenty of power, you know, to run that for, you know, a couple of days if the power goes out or whatever.
Okay.
You know, it's not that she's gonna need it every day, maybe,
Yeah.
but, you know, you want it to, but you could also, you know, like I said, if you got a big enough charger, you could run lights off of it inside the house. I would run LED, cause they pull a lot less power. If you had to, you know, if you can't do without the TV, you can run a TV off of it for a while. Charge your phones, charge your radios. You know, for me, you know, I'd run a coffee pot for a little while too. Gotta have coffee. What else?
That's something else I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
The other night we were talking about having cigarettes or coffee or something to trade.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm glad you reminded me about that. Something that you carry in your packs, you're not gonna put it in your kids' packs, but instead of trying to pay somebody, you know, you're walking along and you decide you're gonna take a ride from somebody or whatever, instead of giving them cash, you know, you're gonna know pretty quick, you know, if they smoke or not, you know, you can usually smell it or see it or whatever. Carry a pack of cigarettes in your pack. You know, something you can trade. You know, they'll stay good in there for I don't know how long.
Because they're addicted.
Yeah, they're addicted
Yeah.
to that. They
And
need that.
Someday
cigarette.
our cash may not really mean much.
Exactly. And you don't want to, you know, if you've got cash, be it, you know, silver coins or whatever, you don't want to spend that on, you know, getting a ride. Not unless you absolutely, you know, it's a life or death thing, and you know, then you trade it out. But use something you can borrow. You know, cigarettes, people gotta have that. You can get those small little bottles of alcohol too. Those will last forever in there, and you can use it as a disinfectant. You know, it's got a lot of uses. I wouldn't recommend it drinking while you're doing all that. Well, you want to keep your mind straight. I mean, you don't want to be, you know, because if you're not paying attention to what's going on, somebody else may come along and take what you got.
Right.
You know. Anything else?
No, I got nothing else.
I mean, I hope you guys